Hi everyone and welcome to this parent-teacher evening. I'm glad you could make it for this information session on history and how we're teaching it in our schools. We're specifically going to look tonight at ICT and how that has enveloped and grown the way that we teach history. Now unfortunately I apologise, but I couldn't make it as I'm currently in quarantine and couldn't make it out of my hotel. But here I am going to pass it over to my good friend, the Hand of Time. So I hope you enjoy and I hope he behaves himself. Thanks, Ben, and welcome parents, future students, and carers to our information evening. I'm the Time of Hand, and let me take you on this grand tour of what we're going to cover in Year 10 history. Teaching history while using ICT can be described in a somewhat oxymoronic way. Learn the past from the tools of the future. While this may sound funny, and let's be honest, it is a bit, ICT has allowed the teaching of history to be more personal, more relevant, more relatable. It increases involvement and the engagement of the students. Let me walk you through a few of the digital artifacts that our kids will be using when studying the European theatre of World War II. When studying World War II, there was always going to be a section on propaganda. Propaganda was pivotal in the morale of the soldiers and citizens, the recruiting process, the conservation of materials, and was even used as an offensive strategy. However, nowadays, Googling propaganda posters is not always accurate, as some of these posters have been modified and made into modern-day slogans, much like the adaptation here from the traditional poster that has now been the source of many memes. While this is a clear rendition, there are some that have been adapted and created that look to be World War II propaganda posters, but are not. The Digital Library of the Northwestern University is one of our resources. They have a collection of 357 World War II propaganda posters that the students can look through and analyze. As we can see, they have an extensive amount originating from many different countries. One of our aspects we'll be studying is the Battle of Britain. The Battle of Britain was Hitler's plan of bombing Britain into submission and surrender. During this event, students will learn what the population of Great Britain was going through. This next digital artifact allows students to see the extent of the bombing that the people of London went through. This map has gathered the data of the bombs that were dropped and has placed them all on this interactive map that allows students to see and observe just how many bombs were dropped on Londoners during these bombing raids. This next digital resource is used with the community in mind. It is the Australian War Memorial Database. This can be used to find soldiers who served in any war that Australia and Australians have been involved, fought, and even died in. One of their learning activities involves them going to their local war memorial and gathering some names from the monument and then using the Australian War Memorial Database to find those names and then learn the story of the people who are being honoured on the memorial. Students are also able to use this resource to find family members that served and find their ancestors that gave the ultimate sacrifice. This activity will not only have community involvement, but also family involvement, building a sense of personal connection to the content being delivered. Extending upon this last resource that has been looked at, students will also be utilising the Anzac Portal website. This website has digital archives of the diaries and journal entries of Anzacs that fought in World War II. These records allow the students to once again obtain a more personal connection with the material, and also receive the benefit of learning from the personal tellings of the material from someone who was there during these events, just as we have with Jeff Maidment, who was there at the Normandy beach landing during the D-Day landings. Students are able to read his first-hand experience of what the landings were like. Here students are able to see the extent of Australian soldiers and the battles that they fought in. While most history books simply label them as being part of the British Army, which is true, students will be able to connect with the soldiers with them being Australian and feeling a sense of national pride. Now I hear a few of you asking, what about the assessment task? I think that must have been from you, Ben. Well, anyway, we'll settle your curiosity and make sure you don't end up like the cat. We all know how that ended up. Our main assignment for our study of World War II covers the students creating an interactive map instead of answering a long and extensive essay on the Battle of the Bulge or a 2,000-word essay on Hitler being a vegetarian. Students will actually be demonstrating their understanding on MapHub. Here, students are to create an interactive map that has distinctive points that show where significant events happened and when. Students here will be demonstrating their knowledge of what happened, when it happened, and where it happened in their creation of this map. Let's have a look at one I've just started as a demonstration. As you can see, we have a map of Europe. You will also see that I have two marker points down, one in Germany and one in the UK. If I click on this one in Germany, we will see that it has been placed in Munich, Bavaria. Here in 1938, there was a meeting between Adolf Hitler of Germany, Neville Chamberlain of Britain, Edouard Daladier of France, and Benito Mussolini of Italy as mediator. Here the four sat down for a peace talk. In the end, Hitler agreed not to break any more clauses of the Versailles Treaty, and Britain and France agreed that Hitler could have the Sudetenlands of Czechoslovakia. This was the agreement to stop any rising tension between the nations. If we now look at the other point that is in the UK, we see that it is in Euston Aerodrome where Chamberlain arrived from the Munich Agreement and declared peace in our time to the press and the people of the United Kingdom. This, of course, was met with the full invasion of Czechoslovakia by Hitler and his Nazi Germany. This is what our Year 10s will be creating in their assignments for this unit. They will be creating their own maps with the option of being able to share this with family, friends, and if they want to, they can publish it and share it with the world. Now that I've shared what the students will be looking at and the digital artifacts they will be using, some of you may be wondering how this benefits parents and carers. Here, this school utilises an ICT resource called Sector. Teachers use this for everything. This is our lesson planner, our unit organiser, assignment planner, what we take attendance on, our marks book, and where we write reports. Sector has another useful feature too. It has a parental function as well. Sector also has a set parental portal where you are able to see your child's workload and progress. You can see what lessons they have, their timetable, what homework they have, and assignments coming up. You are also able to see your child's achievement and the teacher's feedback on their assignment tasks and the grades they received. Through this, parents and carers are able to understand how your children are being marked and the recording and reporting of their work. You'll be able to see and be informed on every important aspect of your child's schooling, all through the power of ICT. Obviously, I cannot show you some actual portals and information due to confidentiality, but I hope this gives you an understanding of what you can do. If you are wanting to find your parental portal, please contact our office staff and they'll be more than happy to help you out. Well, I hope this has been informational and has given you a bit of insight into why we utilize ICT in the classroom. If you're worried about what the students might be up to using ICT in the classroom, or what they may be looking at, or even what they may be subjected to online, there is no need to worry. Our network and computers are all covered with EagleCrest. They are a company that specializes in school ICT and the safe use of digital material. They have created great firewalls and protection that prevent any Nazis from getting in, while also blocking any material that is not beneficial to your child's education. Well, that's it from me. I'll pass it now back to Ben. Thank you all for your attention, and I wish you all a pleasant rest of the day. Thanks everyone for coming out for this parent information night. If you have any questions on anything you've heard or seen, please don't hesitate to write me an email. You can get my email address from the table at the back. I wish you all a great night and safe travels home. Thanks again.